Fine. So the last session we're done with this withholding tax. Just I'm setting the status, and we have seen this invoice approval configuration and we tested the flow also. So when you talk about reporting, we have BA reports and OTBA reports. Anyway, this reporting concept, BIR, OTBA, it's a common feature. We know it is just not for just payables; it's applicable for all the applications. So what we'll do is we'll see this reporting part little bit later. Now it's not exactly part of payables or receivables. So before we get into that, what we'll do is so still in payables pending concept is PO based invoice creation. Okay, invoice creation matching with the PO. To work on this, to create this transaction, we know we have to configure basic purchasing. Then only we can create invoice by matching with the PO. So in today's session, we'll see the purchasing configuration and PO creation and submitting for approvals. Finally, with the same PO, we'll create the invoice in accounts payables. Okay. So here, just whatever I given in the course content, the same I copied and pasted here as a part of what configuration need to be done, which setups we are going to cover for purchasing application. Okay. So these are the basic setups need to be completed for purchasing. After completing these setups, what we'll do is as a part of transaction, for completing all these setups, we'll create the purchase order and we'll approve it and we'll create purchase invoice matching with PO. Okay, we'll create the PO back invoice. This is the process we'll see. First, we'll go through these setups. We'll complete all these basic setups which are required. And before getting into this purchasing, so when you compare our EBS purchasing with the Fusion purchasing, there are some changes. So that means in EBS, if you do the configuration for purchasing, we can create the requisition and we can create the purchase orders. We can record the receipts, and that's how we can do in EBS. But in the Fusion environment, in the Fusion case, so whatever we discuss a few points, receipt creation and all that process are completely decentralized. If you want to create the receipt, you have to just set up the receipt accounting, which is a complete separate configuration which need to be done. And in the same way, like if you want to do the inventory related costing, you have to set cost accounting. You have a like say cost accounting and receipt accounting concepts. So basically, if you are going to create receipt, you have to set receipt accounting. The receipt accruals related accounting will takes place through receipt accounting. And inventory transaction, whatever you have, which will be processing within the inventory, the costing related. For inventory related transaction, if you want to do the accounting, you have to configure cost accounting. And other point is in EBS case, we do the setups for purchasing and we'll open the purchasing periods. But within the Fusion, we don't have any concept called as opening or closing the periods in purchasing. The opening closing periods concept will be handled by these cost accounting and receipt accounting. Okay, when you just go with the depth of procurement learning, definitely will come across this. But now our focus is on finance. So just to understand the process, basic process, we are going to do these setups, purchasing configuration. That's the reason I'm not going to touch this cost accounting and receipt accounting. If you can do the receipt accounting, then you can record the receipt, but in our case we are not going to do that. It's a basic purchasing configuration which will allow us to create the PO, and where we can approve and finally we can use that same PO for invoice creation. Just I'm sharing this point just for information. Okay, cost accounting, to calculate the cost and to account the, I mean, simple point is to do the accounting for inventory transaction. With the cost accounting you can account inventory transaction, and with receipt accounting you can do the accounting for receipt accruals, mean to say receipts which you are creating against the purchase orders. And directly we don't, there is no point of concept of opening the periods in the purchasing in future. In EBS we can do that, but here that is not required. That period status controls and all will be managed by cost accounting and receipt accounting. So now we'll start with our system configuration. What are the basic setups we have to complete to create the purchase orders? First we'll go and create the inventory location. So I'll just go to implementation projects, open this. So we know we have a task called as manage locations. So here from any task you can create, but now since it's related to procurement, I'm selecting manage locations from procurement offering. Then click on go to task icon. Then click on create. So I'll give the name as Fusion Inventory Location. I'll give code as Fusion Inventory. Okay, and select city. What I'll do is okay, select zip code, everything will get defaulted. Now just say submit. So we create a location for inventory. Okay. The next step is we have to make sure that what to the BU, for which BU we want to do the setups, and for that BU we already assigned the procurement related business function. We completed this task when we started for payables configuration. Okay, here we did that, right? Assign business unit business functions. Through this we enabled everything, but anyway, just since this is a very relevant point, we'll go and see, verify once again. Okay, what we have to do, we have to assign business unit business functions for procurement. Just we'll go and verify that. Search for business unit business functions. Okay, task name is assign business unit business functions. And click on go to task icon. We want to verify for which business unit. Fusion, select business unit name, it says save and close. So if you notice here, for all the business functions which are available, all we assign to this our business unit. But to complete the purchasing setups, okay, to complete the purchasing setups, we have to make sure that this procurement business function is enabled. Okay, this should be enabled. And if you want to do some requisition related setups, this also need to be enabled. And if you want to do the receipt related, receiving related setups, this should be enabled. Okay. So primarily these, just make sure that these functions are enabled for this business unit. But even we are going to just work on only procurement. Some setups it's a mandatory, there will be dependents we should complete. For that reason, just make sure that these three functions are enabled for our business unit. So the relevant setup system will allow us to complete. Let's say save and close. We are not changing anything, just we are reviewing. Fine. So that is already there. So we completed, we just now verified. And in case of EBS, what we do is when you start with the basic configuration for purchasing, we have to create the inventory organization also, at least to support the setups. What are the setups we do for purchasing? The purchasing should connected with the inventory. Okay, integration, we know integration is there. For that reason, we have to do some setups. Out of that, so to set the inventory information, in case of EBS, to when you create inventory, you have to set the inventory information. So when you're setting the inventory information, one parameter is mandatory where it should be defined before you go and set it up. That is nothing but workday calendar. The same workday calendar in Fusion we call as facilities. Okay, we call as facilities. We have to define the facilities. It's same as workday calendar, but to create the workday calendar in the Fusion we have these three steps which need to be followed. First we'll create the shifts, then we'll define the shift timings, I mean shift pattern, then schedules for the same shifts. Okay, here we are calling as facilities, which is equal to workday calendar in EBS. Let's go and define it. First we have to create the facilities shifts. Okay, first we have to create the facility shifts. So say search for facility shifts. Just click on task called as manage facility shifts. Just click on go to task icon. See, we have task in the sequence only. Facility shifts, then facility workday pattern, and facility schedules. These three we have to complete. Okay, so click on create. So here we'll give normal shift. Okay, Fusion normal shift I am giving. Here start time for the shift, say 9 o'clock, and with a space we have to write that is AM or PM. That is a format it will accept. Otherwise, if you go in this way, it won't accept. Okay, even if you try with AM, it won't accept. It should be, there should be space. That's how the standard format Oracle given. And the duration, how many hours? Say 8 hours. 8 hours. Select hours. So we know, like, we are not going to work on this part and all, just for we are trying to do the basic setups which will support the process which we are expecting to do. So that's the reason we don't need to understand this too much detail level. Let's go with the basic value selection and completing these setups. Okay, Shift detail time, whether flexible or some punch. Just I'm selecting as a none, so that further there won't be any additional information it won't look for. Then say save and close. So we're done with the shift definition. Click on done. Now we'll create the workday pattern. So manage facility workday patterns. Click on go to task icon. So click on create. Okay, here you can give the name as Fusion workday pattern. Length in days. I'll say length in days 7 days. And just click on add row. Okay. So here I'll give start date is 1 and end date is 5. Since it's a weekly, I'm giving 7. Okay, and the working days only 5 days, so I'll give 1 to 5. And shift name, just now we created the same shift, you can select in from this list. Search, given name as a Fusion, search and select it, Fusion normal shift. That's all. That's the basic information how to provide as a pattern. That says save and close. So click on done. Now we have to create the schedules. Manage facility schedules. If you don't complete this, you cannot create inventory. If you don't create inventory, you cannot do the basic setups for purchasing. So that's a dependency. That's the reason we are doing these setups. Then click on create to create the schedule. Okay. So here you say add workday pattern. Sequence is 1. So just now we created that workday pattern. The same we can select here. Just click on search. So Fusion workday pattern. Say okay. Then say save and close. That's all. We completed these 3 tasks. Okay. So if you are going to do the actual configuration to work on the inventory environment, yes, we have to create the master inventory, then we have to create the physical inventories. But now we are not going to record any inventory related transaction. For that reason, I'm going to create only actual inventory. If you want to create the master item master, how to create that we'll be discussing at the time of actual inventory creation. Okay, let's go to create the inventory organization. So here itself we have a task. Task name is manage inventory organizations. Okay, click on go to task icon. Click on create. Okay, in EBS, how you can make the difference between master inventory and physical inventory, actual inventory. So with any classification or any other information, you cannot do it. The system point of view, if it is a item master, you no need to give the location, and as well as you no need to map item master to any operating unit in case of EBS. If you are creating the, and again there will be parameter in the inventory information when you define the item master organization. In the inventory information, will be selecting the parameter as a which organization is a master organization for that inventory. The same will be selecting. When you are creating the actual physical inventories, will be mapping that physical inventory should be mapped with which master item master. That's how with the specification will be doing. Here also that specification will be doing that inventory falls into which item master. That specification will be giving Okay, but apart from that, in the Fusion they given the option to specify whether that is item master or physical inventory. That classification they given. Okay, I'll touch that point. Okay, we'll just give the name as Fusion US inventory. Okay, it's a name, and the organization is nothing but actually this is a code. Okay, but they're given as a direct label name as a organization, but should be organization code. I'll say code 9999. And see here, usage. Basically, this usage will be having two values. One is inventory management, other one is item management. Okay, we'll be having two values. One is inventory management, other one is item management. Okay, if you are going to create master inventory, you should select value as a item management for item master. Okay, if you are creating item master inventory, for item master inventory you have to select usage as a item master. If you are going to create the physical inventory, I mean to say for actual inventory, you have to select as item management. But in this environment, what are the environment we are using? In this environment, by default system is taking inventory management, but the reality, the actual process is whenever you just open this create inventory organization, it has to just this field should be drop down field, but here it's getting freezed. I don't know what changes are happened in this environment. Basically this field will be drop down. You'll be finding two values. One is inventory management, other one is item management. When you are creating the item master, select item management, and if you are creating the actual physical inventory, real inventories, select inventory management. Okay, so now system is by default it is selecting as a inventory management. There is no option where I can go on to override it. No issues. I am going to create the physical inventory only. There won't be any issue for us. We are not going to perform any inventory related transactions, so that would be fine. Just we need the basic definition of inventory organization. So now since is inventory organization, okay, inventory management is physical inventory. Okay, so you have to map this is under which business unit. Select your business unit,
Lakshman, can I ask you a question about this?
please.
Is it the reason why inventory management is coming because already item master is created?
No, not like that. Okay,
Okay.
it's not like that. Not that reason. In there is some. I don't see like this in the any other environments. I'm finding in this environment only. See, you think like it. See, you may not have just one inventory, right? If you are doing the business across the globe, multiple countries. In this case, how if system is understanding one master is created, so it has to be freezed. No, it won't work in that way. I many times I created inventory, but I didn't see in this way. But in this environment, I'm finding its the system is just defaulting. Again, it is not allowing us to override. At least there is no drop down option. Also, there should be two values. That's it. There should be two values. Okay, as I
Okay.
mentioned here, two inventory management, which you have to select to create the physical inventory, and when you are creating the item master, you should select item management as a usage type, usage purpose. Okay, done. Okay, now you have to select this inventory. Yeah, please. I think somebody has question. Any questions? No. Fine. So this inventory is going to be under which business unit? We know, like as per enterprise structure, as multi-org structure, always inventories will be maintained under BUs, right? So just go and select your business unit, Fusion US business unit. Then based on this, automatic system will default the whatever the parameters are mapped with this. Okay, that system is defaulting primary ledger, and here I'll select the location address. Before we start with this inventory definition, we created inventory location, right? that location, we'll go and select. That is Fusion inventory location. Search and select Fusion inventory location. Okay. Basically, if you select usage, generally this should be drop down value, but in this environment, I don't see it is working in the how it should work. When you select usage as okay item, sorry, when you select usage as item management, here you don't need to select any legal entity and this all this information. Okay, since it's a physical inventory which we are creating, so we are mapping with the business unit, and then here we have to select the legal entity as a mandatory. Okay, if it is going to be item management, you don't need to select any business unit also, but they made location as a mandatory for it. It can be master or physical inventories, any inventory address they made it as a mandatory. But BU, you don't need to select. Based on that, you don't need to select any legal entity and other information. In case of item master, if you select usage as item management, but that is not working now in this environment. It is not allowing us to change, so leave it anyway. We are just creating one physical inventory. Select your inventory organization, sorry. Okay, then you can click on next. So here we can set the inventory information. Click on next. So these values on all these tabs information we will get only if you are creating the actual inventory, physical inventory. At the time of inventory creation, if you select the value as a usage as a item management, that means system will understand that is a master. In case of master, there won't be any transactions which we do, right? That is the reason you don't find all these tabs. For which inventory you are selecting the usage as okay inventory management, okay, not item management, inventory management. If you are selecting the inventory management is nothing but that is a actual inventory. Only in that case to control the process will be getting all these options. Otherwise you don't see all this information for master inventory definition, item master definition. Okay, just go to general tab, please.
I have a question here.
Please.
What's the difference between management business unit and profit center business unit here?
Sorry?
The business unit is like displayed as management business unit. That's what we selected.
Okay.
And there is also a profit center business unit. That's also says like that's right now we haven't selected anything. So how does that behave like when we are like revenue and other aspects? And how reporting?
Even I never come across this profit center or a business unit. We have to refer it. Not sure. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. So we may try with help. You can get it since everything is available in help. But I never come across that. Okay. We'll see. Even I'll check from my side. What is that? Fine. So now we have to select the schedules. In case of EBS. Sorry?
Can I comment on that one?
Yeah, please.
Profit center business.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So let's say like in our company we have multiple business unit. So they track the inventory movement by business unit. So if a company has multiple businesses, then they associate each warehouse to a business unit for even cost and profit purpose also.
Yeah. No, that is done right. See that this is totally different. See, this is the managed business unit. This is the one which will be using for tracking each and everything, expense or whatever you do against this inventory. The question, I think from Maruti, the question is how profit center business unit is different from the management actual business unit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's say we have warehouses, but the warehouse will have products of very different business units. So they want to track like to which business, under which business units the profit they belong to in terms of financially.
Yeah, that will belongs to this business unit only.
No, like the warehouse might have products that belong to different business units.
Mm-hmm.
So inventory movements will be in the inventory organization, but to track financially, they might have another business unit that's called profit center business unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, the term wise, yes, what you are saying, telling, I agree. But we have to
Yep.
see how the logic will work in the system, because whatever you have a managed business unit, that that also can be like same like a profit center. But in our case, when you are defining the value, also not coming for this, how this has to be managed in the system. That's why we have to understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. We define it at the item level, so to group the profit.
Maybe just we'll see that. Okay. We anyway.
Lakshman, I
Yeah. Yeah. Maruti.
specifics of functionality. I'll try to comment on that tomorrow's class.
Okay. Great. Great. Yeah. Sure. Okay, fine done. So here we have to select the schedule. This is nothing but as per EBS workday calendar, we'll select when you are setting the inventory information. Here we'll be selecting the schedule. What schedule we created? Fusion schedule. And here you can select item master organization. Since there is no scope to create item master in this page, what we tried, I mean, there was no option to select item management. So the same organization I'm selecting as item master. Okay. Fusion US inventory, the same I'm selecting. No issues. We are not going to create any transactions within the inventory. Just we are trying to complete the setups. Okay, next we'll go to lot serial number and do packing unit. So select any one of the value unique across item. We know these all are inventory functions. So any other mandatory field starting serial number, I'll put some number, and the item sourcing details. I don't think so. Something is mandatory here. Nothing is mandatory. Additional information also nothing. So that's all. This is the basic information which you have to provide. Then say save. Say save and close. So this is how we can create the inventory organization. So fine, done. Now the other point is we're done with this. Now we have to set up procurement business function. Okay, it's a equal. This setup is equal to purchasing options. Okay, this setup is equal to purchasing option. For purchasing application, we do purchasing option setups in EBS. In case of Fusion, that task they given as that setup they given as a procurement business function. Okay, just task name would be same. You can copy and paste and search for it. So search for configure procurement business function. Just click on the task. You can just drag and you can see the full name. So configure procurement business function. Click on go to task icon. Select your business unit. If for your business unit, if you already assigned procurement business function, then only you can find your business unit here. If you're not finding your business unit, that means there is no procurement function is assigned to your BU. Cannot complete the setups if you don't enable that business unit set assignment, business unit function assignments. So Fusion US business unit, then say okay. So at least provide the very basic information. Set a default payment method, payment terms. I'm selecting as a immediate, and select inventory organization. For this purpose only, we are just doing created inventory organization. Without doing this setup, we cannot work on purchasing. So that is the reason we created inventory organization. So I think we given the name as number 9999, I guess, right? No. 29999, right? Yep. Save. Okay. So select, if you want to set default line type when you are creating the purchase order, you can select selecting goods, so that whenever we create the purchase order, this line type will get defaulted. Select currency, and what else we have as a mandatory? I think I don't see maximum lines in PDF. Say 100 lines, and that's all. These are the other controls related to purchasing process. Okay, you may try with all those when you are practicing, but generally just we are going with the basic configuration, so I'm not touching all those which are not required for now. Say save and close. Okay, done with that. Now requisition business functions. You have to configure requisition business functions which will control the requisition creation process. Click on go to task icon. Okay, select your business unit, Fusion US business unit, then say okay. So here all set to default, you don't need to change, and nothing is required. Just to go through the setup and information, I'm just opening, that's all. So just save and close. Okay, say we're done with these two setups. Now we have to make sure that when we are going to work on purchasing, like in terms of dependence and all, purchasing need to be configured first. But already we tried with the payables as a part of payables configuration, because we know this is a common setup for payables and procurement. So from payables we completed, but it has to be when you are doing setups for purchasing, this should be completed as a part of purchasing configuration only. So this is a task already we completed. Let's just review it. Same. Select your business unit. Just will go on to verify, that's all. So you can see everything is defaulting based on the view selection. So here you don't need to do anything, just I'm canceling this. Fine. So this is there already. Now we have to set up receiving parameters. Okay, so why I given these setups, because if you are going to start with the purchasing first, in that case definitely this is a sequence you have to follow. These setups need to be completed. So that's the reason even few of the setups, one two setups already we did as a part of payables configuration, but again I mentioned here, so because these all are mandatory to start with the purchasing. Okay, now we have to set the receiving parameters. Okay, like the receiving options we have. Okay, receiving information in EBS. In the same way here we have receiving parameters. Search for receiving parameters. Okay, click on manage receiving parameters. Click on go to task icon. So select your inventory organization. So once again, so organization is nothing but code. Okay, here you can set the mandatory parameters, days, exceed action. I'm just setting none. You don't need to define rule which should come as a warning or rejection. Receipt routing method, standard receipt, receipt number, say automatic, type is, it should be numeric only. Next, number 1. RMA, return material authorization. I'm setting standard receipt routing. Done. Then say just save window, close. Okay. So procurement agent already created, but just will go and verify once. Same user, a Fusion user created as a procurement agent as a part of payables configuration to create the supplier site. Right. Just will go and check it. So here, so this is already, this setup is already completed. So Fusion US business unit already created as a procurement agent. Right. So these are the different privileges this user has, this agent has. Once we are going to work on purchasing, we have to make sure that this manage purchase orders checkbox is selected as allowed. Otherwise, you cannot create the purchase orders from this user, this buyer, or say this agent. Okay, done. Done. Now, when you talk about EBS, okay, when you talk about EBS, basically will be providing the accounts. Will be providing the accounts uh, through what I can say this. When you are setting the inventory information, will be providing the accounts. Through purchasing options, will provide the accounts, and with the receiving options also in the three different setups will provide the accounts, which will support the relevant process. Which processes? So which are related to inventory costing and receipt accounting. When you create receipt accounting need to be created when you do the create the purchase order, system has to derive the accounting to support all these different transactions in the system will derive the accounting from the respective sources. But in Fusion we complete almost the same setups, nowhere we mention the accounts. So for that we have a different options. When you are creating the purchase orders, okay, when you are creating the purchase orders, to derive the accounting we have to do separate setup as a part of SLA. Okay, we call it as tab. PO SLA tab means purchasing related SLA, subledger accounting tab. Transaction accounting builder we have to set up. Okay, PO tab you can say, or PO SLA tab, transaction accounting builder. You have to set this SLA related configuration. You have to define all these rules. Okay, you have to create the account rules. You have to transaction accounting definitions and subledger accounting options. These and all we have to set. Otherwise, when you are creating the PO, okay, system cannot derive accounting. If system is not deriving the accounting, you cannot complete the PO creation also. Okay, it's a mandatory step which you have to create as per our requirement. Which account, whether you can go with some constant rule or you can go with some other derivation. You know, in EBS like SLA, in the same way it works. Directly you can create the accounting rule. Otherwise, you have some conditions. In that case, you can create the mapping set. In the mapping set, you can give some what base, like what account system has to derive. The conditions you can write that you can use in the accounting rule, or else straight away you can create the accounting rule. Okay, to support our basic flow concept, this PO creation will go and define it. But before that, this is a point we have to understand. This we call as PO tab. Okay, tab means transaction accounting builder we have to create for purchase order related process as a part of SLA setup. These already we discussed. This is for receipt accounting. This is for cost related, inventory transaction related accounting purpose. We have to do the cost accounting. Okay, let's go and do all this. So now primarily we have to go and define the manage accounting rules as a part of POSLA tab. Okay, transaction accounting builder. builder. These are the accounts. We have to define the accounting rules. Okay, so accrual account, which account system has to take, from where it has to derive, or else by constant you can set it up, or else some conditional based also you can write some rules. So accrual account, charge account, destination charge, okay, destination variance and variance account. For all these accounts we have to define the accounting rules. Okay, that accounting rules you have to map with the respective definition. Whatever the rule you defined, all the rules we have to assign to the respective rules whatever we have in the system. Finally, those all you have to assign to your primary ledger. We'll see that. Okay, first we'll go on to create the account rules. Okay, we'll go on to define the account rules for all these accounts. So say account rules search. Okay, manage account rules. Click on go to task icon. Before that, if you want to create the mapping set, you can do that. Fine. Here say create. See here Oracle also providing the seeded rules and all, but see, as per our requirement we have to create. These are the seeded. Okay, the default rules Oracle is providing, but always we'll create our own, because how which account system has to take and all, we have to set it up. Fine. So here I'll go with just say Fusion. What accounts we have? First one is accrual account. Accrual account. Here select your chart of accounts, Fusion accounting instance. The rule type, what base you want to, how you want to set the rule, like accounting combination or based on the specific segment or the value set based. I'll just go with accounting combination. And rule we are going to define, just click on add row. Okay, here validation value types. Okay, you may select account rule which is already created. Another rule you may select into this rule definition, or else you can select constant. You, if you have a mapping set which is defined already, that you can select, or else you can select source here based on the source from where, from which place system has to derive accounting. All these you can set up. Now just I'm going with the constant, because we are not going to become experts on purchasing with this training. It's a basic configuration I'm going to cover. So value type I selected as a constant. Here I can give the which code combination system has to take when you create the PO as a accrual account. So select company, select department, and just select accrual account. Select accrual account and say OK. And if you want to write some conditions here, you can write some conditions. If you want to write, you can write here. So here I'm going to say save and create another. The next one I'll create charge account. If you want to understand more than whatever we are discussing now, definitely you should get more exposure on this. In that case, you may refer help. You can get good information. But here, just to support our process and all, I'm doing the basic configuration. So, sorry, Fusion charge. Select chart of accounts instance, Fusion account accounting instance, and same rule type is account combination. Then say add row. I'll select constant value. Company, department, charge account. Okay. Just these accounts normally you don't find in the operations account value set also. I just added before the session. Okay, to complete these setups, what are these accounts? Okay, these 1 2 3 4, these 5 accounts I added to value set. Okay, done. Say save and create another. So then destination charge account. Select chart of accounts. So select destination charge account. Say okay and save and create another. Rule is constant. Select company and department account. Sorry. Okay, destination variance account. Say okay. Just save and create another. Take last rule which you have to create for variance account. Select chart of accounts. Rule value type is constant. Just set default account code combination. Okay, here. So that's all. Then say save and close. Okay, we defined rules. Okay, these are all rules we defined. Now that sorry, transaction account definition. See, this manage transaction account types all are seeded. You don't need to create it. All are available, which will refer this whatever we are going to rules we created for what, those only those types. The accrual account, charge account, and all. Okay, these are just predefined. So we have to go with the manage transaction account definition. These rules we can map with the respective types through this. Okay, then click on create. Say vision tab definition. Select your chart of accounts, Fusion accounting instance. Now for these account types only, we defined 5 rules. What are the rules you created assigned to relevant type? So accrual account. For this we create a rule called as Fusion accrual account rule assign. Charge account, Fusion charge account rule. Destination charge account, Fusion destination charge. Destination variance account, Fusion destination variance account, Fusion variance. That's all. Then say activate. Then click on done. Now these we have to assign to our ledger. So we're done with this. Now go with this task, manage subledger accounting options. Okay, manage subledger accounting options. Then click on go to task icon. So search for your primary ledger. Select and say okay. Then click on search. Expand it. So now we created the transaction related accounting definition for purchasing. So here we have a purchasing. Against the purchasing under accounting options, just click on this edit icon. Okay, here by default system is taking purchasing tab default transaction account, but we created our own, right? Within that you cannot have your accounting and all. Just here take from here, select this one, Fusion tab definition. This is what we created just now, that you have to select. That means that the definition, the rules you are assigning to your primary ledger, then only accounting takes place. System will derive when you create the keywords. Say save and close. Okay, done, completed. Now we'll set up the basic approval configuration for purchasing. Just in payables we tested, right? We create approve group and we define the rule. But here we'll go and create the simple rule. What rule I'm going to create? Say simple example. I'll say in payables we created 2 rules and we tested whether notification is going to the right person or not. But here, that in that way we are not going to create. Just simple, I'm going to create if amount is say less than 50,000, who can approve that? That's what we are going to specify. We'll set this Fusion can approve purchase orders if amount is less than 50,000. That rule we are going to define. For that, first we have to create the approval group. We'll go and create the approval group. Let's search for approval groups. Approval groups for not for finance, procurement. So manage approval groups for procurement. Okay, manage approval groups for procurement. Click on go to task icon. And then click on create, say Fusion PO approval group. Then click on add member, select user. drag little right. So here we have Fusion user, then say OK, then say OK. Now save it. Okay, done. After that, what we do is, normally we'll go to the task configuration. If you want to set the approvals for purchasing, that to purchasing in the sense here, I'm just specifying the purchase orders. To set the approvals for purchase orders, here we have a task configuration. Sorry. So document approval. Okay, we have a document approval. This is the task we have to use. Then we know the process, right? So we'll click on edit, and we'll go to this assignees. These are the different nodes, workflow nodes we have. Which node you require, you can enable. Okay, all you can disable, and which you are using, that you can enable, and you can define the rule. Same process, but in case of purchasing we have two options. One is from BPM you can define the rule. If not from BPM, directly you can create from function setup manager. But payables we don't have in that way. You have to create the rule from workflow only. There is no other navigation to go and define the invoice related approvals. But for purchasing, they given the flexibility. If you want to create, you can come to this BPM, and BPM level we can do the rule definition. If not from BPM, you can do from other place. Okay, other separate navigation we have, like separate user interface they given. From there you can create, that same will be reflected into this workflow. Okay, that's how it works. First we'll create there, and we'll come and verify whether that is reflecting here or not. Okay, just from here you create the approval group, that's enough. Okay, now we'll go here and say here task name is this. So manage purchasing document approvals. For purchase order, if you want to set the approval, this is the task we have to use. Manage purchasing document approvals. So here see, these are the different nodes, right? So many nodes we have, 4, 4, 5. And these are the 5, 10 we have. And here 4 we have, 14 nodes we have. These nodes only you can see here. These are the nodes. These nodes are displayed here in this fashion. These are the nodes. If you want to enable any node, here we'll be selecting the node right below, like we'll be saying ignore participant. If you just, that is already enabled, that will be in the ignore means it will be disabled mode. If you disable it, it will be enabled. That's how we'll do. But here the same, here from here also you can enable it. See, this node is enabled. If you want to enable another node, select the node and say enable. Enable it. That's it. From here also you can enable. We have seen when we were defining the rule for invoice approvals, right? So here we enabled 3 nodes. The same will reflect here, but you have to deploy them. You have to save. You have to just you have to deploy them. Just you completed that, and just you have to go to edit and all. You will be setting certain things. Then those will be enabled. Okay, the same will now we'll go and see that, no issues. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't need to go to BPM to set the approval for purchasing. It can be purchase order or requisition related approvals. Without going to BPM, you can set directly from this user interface. Whatever you set from here, the same will reflect in the BPM. We'll go and see that. So now whatever just nodes we have, I'm going to just disable it. You know, like when we are just testing, the best thing what you can do is, already the system is not in use. If there is a fresh environment, if any nodes are by default enable mode, go and disable, and just only make sure that whatever you are going to, where you are going to create the rules, that only you can enable. Now in the current scenario, just to test this functionality, what I'll do is I'll go with this post approval, pre-approval, consensus. Okay, consensus. This is a node I am going to use, which will comes into parallel approval. But anyway, I'm going to create a one rule. It's even that is a parallel. What rule, what type of rule you are creating, that is a matter. So I'm going with the approval group, so it will be supported. Sorry. So just select this rule. First we have to enable. We know how to enable from BPM, but from here it's very simple. So select it, then say enable. Okay, enabled. So now within this node, this is also node. Before that, what I'll do is better I will close it. Select and enable. You can see here this node is enabled. Now click on edit rules to define the rules. Okay, here say create. So there is another rule already enabled. That rule I can disable it and save it. Once you save anything, you have to deploy. Basically, deploy means it will be in a deployment means it is equal to commit. In case of workflow, we'll do some changes, we'll save and we'll deploy. We'll save and we'll commit. But in this user interface, they given us save and deploy. Fine. Go to edit rule. Let's go and create our own rule. Fusion less than $50,000. So the previous other rule also I only created because to make sure that in this environment these approaches are working or not. Okay, that's the reason just I created and verified. So done. I created rule, and here I have to write the condition. Say add condition. So in case of workflow, what we'll do, we'll go under, we'll take if class. If invoice amount is, rule will be selecting the operator. Okay, we'll be just selecting that and we'll be giving the amount. In the same way here also, attribute is nothing but the same. I'll go with here document total. If document total is purchase order document total, we'll say document total. If document total nothing but PO amount is say less than value, say 50,000. Okay, if document total means purchase order, okay, amount is less than 50,000. If you want to go with a specific purchase order type also, you can select in this. In the search option only you can search for specific purchase order types. In that case accordingly it will work. Now it is applicable for everything. It's not for specific document, for all. So just say okay. Here then what is action? Add action. Who can approve? Fusion PO approval group. Within this we have a employee or user called as Fusion. That user can approve it. Okay, root using approval group. Which approval group people can approve it? This approval group say okay. Then now you have to save it and you have to deploy. Before that, just remember what we created. Fusion less than 50,000. This is what we created. I'm just going to deploy it. Say yes. Okay, so now you can see this rule is only, this node is enabled. Within that we written one rule. Then click on that. Now whatever you are writing here, the same will be reflecting in BPM. If you want to go and see, yes, we can go and see that. With this navigation, I will navigate to BPM with this task. Okay, manage upload group for procurement. With this task, I'm navigating to BPM and go to task configuration. And for purchasing, the workflow name is document approval. Document approval is nothing but PO approvals. So go to assignees. I think it's not earlier we didn't save. I think. In that case, since we didn't save it, I'm not sure whether reflected or not. I'll cancel and again I'll take the navigation. Where is this document approval? Oh, then it's not mandatory how to go with edit directly. We can go and see that, but let's go in this way. Let's just expand this. So there, this is a node we enabled. Okay, post approvals parallel consequences. Okay, so here you can click on this dot icon, go to it's not at reflected. It may take some time to just get updated here. Because it was not saved before we could define that rule. One second. Now also it is not saved and committed. And save, also deploy. I'll just sign out and sign in. Window is not coming first time. Fine. Okay, the same what we defined that should reflect it in this document approvals. See, user less than 50,000. This is what we created from that user interface. So the same, less than 50,000. That should goes to this approved group. Just save it. You don't need to come and verify here, just for information I'm sharing. Just if you can define there, that is enough. You don't need to touch BPM when you are setting the approvals for requisition or purchase order. Okay, that's all. Then now manage purchasing document, this also we completed, right? Now we have to assign the data roles to user. So now we have to work on purchasing application. To work on purchasing, we need access for this user. We'll go and assign the roles, nothing but data roles. So we'll go to IDM. Manage job roles. Select user. Go to roles. Click on assign. So here purchasing term, there will be one row. Vision US business unit. Okay, purchase analyst. Purchase analysis, and we have few more roles which will include the procurement term. Okay, even this role is for especially for advanced procurement, but no issues. I'm just going to assign to this. That's not mandatory for us now. The procurement preparer will, that role is enough to create the purchase orders. Anyway, we created. I'm going to run the LDAP. Okay. Anyway, even after completing this, also it won't immediately it won't be available to perform the task. If you go to Navigator, so it takes some time. So the minimum time it will take 10 to 15 minutes time. So what happens is once you assign that here under procurement, there will be purchasing. There will be one more task system will be adding. Even after just adding system also it won't accept us to perform the purchase order creation. So minimum it require 10 to 15 minutes time to get updated in the to sync in the system process where the function will be available for this user to perform the relevant kind of task. So here what I suggest is let's take a break for 15 minutes. We'll take 15 minutes break. Okay, within 5-10 minutes also it won't be ready. We'll take 5 minutes break. Even I'm going to stop the recording also for 15 minutes. I don't want to keep in this way. I'll pass it. Okay. So
Oh, Lakshman uncle.
yeah, one second. Yeah. Tell me, Ankit, based on that.
Lakshman, I just want to ask one question. In voice screen in AP, like in release 12, there is option to enable DFF at header level, line level.
Correct.
Is the same option is available in Fusion or not?
Yes, available.
Okay.
DFS we have
So,
as the same how we have in ABS in the same way we have. I'm not covering the
okay.
DFF intentionally. I didn't include in the course content. The reason is people will start enabling the DFFs. That will disturb many things. Even we says like only do this level that level, but they'll try in their own ways. That's how we have experience also where the environment became in the different way. Just here and there, it's everywhere. System is asking as a mandatory fields we have to enable enter DFFs. They're setting the different levels. So that's the reason I didn't include in that. But concept we have the same how it works in EBS in the same way we have in the Fusion also. Okay.
Okay. In the same way, we are going to enable the DFF.
Yeah. We'll do that. Yeah, same process. We can go and define how many segments you require. I mean to say attributes, right? We call as attributes. So that you can go and set it up. Yeah. And meantime, what we'll do is I think earlier somebody had some question. Who's that? I think Sharath. Sharath?
Lakshman, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sharath, we'll see
The
that point
12 one, the
now.
role.
Yeah, roles, right? Yeah, we'll go to that.
Mhm.
So anyway, we have time now. And we have to go to this security console, right? I think you were talking about GL related roles. You are not able to see that the functions, right? Well, let me go to that page. We'll see that. Yeah. So what is the role you are referring? Sharath?
General accountant.
Yeah. See, when I type general accountant, you see here, I am getting two roles here. One is normal general accountant, other one is application role. Okay, this is the one general account role, and this is a different application role system is referring. Okay, system is displaying. Now tell me your point.
If I copy the general accountant to the custom one,
Hmm.
take one,
Hmm.
and I can't see all these geographic like as a R or P, something like that. I didn't see it. Okay, my straight question,
Yeah.
if I want, yeah, can you go
Yeah,
back to the navigator? I will show you what I'm referring.
You want me to go to navigator?
Yeah, go to the navigator.
One second.
Yeah.
You- Yeah, tell me.
Go to the navigator. And see here we have like as a
No, tell me.
General accounting, and go to the general. No, go to the journals.
Journals.
Go to the journals.
Okay.
Yes, I will come to the straight point. Actually, journals.
No, tell me. Meantime, tell me what is the point. You tell me.
Okay, the main point is actually we have the like as a task list, right? Task panel is there, right?
Correct.
Okay, go to the task panel. Yeah, task panel. Okay, so these are the existing seeded tasks actually.
Yes.
Okay, I have a requirement to remove a couple of things for the custom one.
Okay.
Okay, how I am going to map one to one, something like that.
Now, first
What
what
exercise I have to do?
Yeah. First, what we have to do is for GL, how many roles we have?
So 5 different roles.
5 different roles. So first, go through those roles. In which role, what privileges we have? You have to go through it, right? That's true, right? See, first, what you have to do is, so you have to basically here just we have all those things. You don't need to go with this first of all. You don't need to go with this. So I'll go with this compare role. I'll be selecting one role. So okay, general accountant I am taking. Saying okay. I'll just search. Sorry, here not all. Just 1 second. This is the one you can select only in the first row. First row, just click on compare. Comparison, functionality, policies, and all. Only in the second row. Now we have an option here. Let me go in this way. Here, one more role is required to compare. I'll show you that how it works. First, you have to see in which, what I can say, in which role what privileges we have. I'll just go through this. Anyway, I'm not going to save it. I'll just say copy.
Choose the both copy, top role, and inheritance role. So second option.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see that. Okay, these are the different privileges we have. Okay, so these are the different privileges we have for that. I think which we selected is just wrong what I selected. Just 1 second. I think that is application one. Just we have to select over there. Just say cancel back. Cancel. Here, select this one. See here, these are the roles. These are the privileges. Okay. Fine. So this is like whatever. See, you have a requirement. You need access to 4 or 5 functions. First of all, you have to understand those functions, those task panel. Within the task panel, what you see, those are part of which role you have to see. Okay, those are part of which role you have to see. After just making a note, what you can do is you can go and create your custom role. You can go and create your custom role. Within that custom role, you can select whatever you need. Just directly it's going and selecting only. If you go with one role, you can go with one role also, right? You can go with one role. See, you identified we have 5 roles. Out of 5 roles, from you want to go with this role because most of the functions are available within that. Remaining we have to select from different one. In that case, select and say copy role. So copy role. I'll say it's new. I'll go to next. Okay, so so here we got many roles within this. So because as per your requirement, you don't need this. Create financial statement reports, you don't need for this user. Delete it. Yes, deleting. Anyway, copied one, you can do it. Many you don't require. And you need other functions which are part of other roles, not an issue. You can add it to this. These are all you don't require, and you need something else. Go to add functional security policies. Here, if you know the name, you search with the specific name, you can find it. Otherwise, just it's an open search. You'll be finding all. Okay, here see how many items we have. This many items we have. 4,483. Okay, load more items. Click on that. It will be keep loading. If you know the names, first of all, you should know which names. Simple point. In EBS also, we do the same. I'm going to create the custom menu. If I'm going to create the custom menu from serial one, I have to make a copy of the submenus or functions which I want to take into custom menu. Here also same practice. If you want to copy, first of all, you have to go to the right menu, and from that you have to copy and maintain. This is how we have to do. So if you are expecting something else, let me know. We'll discuss. Sharath?
I got a little bit confused with that reference document to trim down the existing menu. That's what I'm looking into, not adding something that it is. If I know something, how I am going to trim the copied one. That's what I'm doing some exercise actually.
Okay. Now, is it clear to you or not? This is what, see, your requirement is you want to create custom one by selecting the specific. In that case, simple practice is we know what roles we have for application. We have to be clear on that. You have to open and see all those roles. Okay, so that you can understand. Otherwise, that also you can ignore. Straight away go to the copy one role. If you have most of the functions from, if you want to take most of the functions from specific role, better you can copy, and whatever you don't require, you remove, and you can select. Otherwise, from scratch, you can go and create it, right? From scratch, you can go to create role. Okay, go to create role and you give some name and all. Okay, role source. You can take just external role, which will have some functions, and I'll take here common role. I'll take as financials. I'll take as a duty roles. Next. Okay, and I think just not this one. 1 second. I selected wrong one. Select application role, and here you can select job role and go to next. Here you can add all the functions what you require. Okay, what exactly you need? You need 2 functions or 3 functions or 4 only. Just you know the names also, because you verified the all in what are the functions we have from which role and all. You know, you are aware of those functions. Those you can add into this selection. From here you can search for it. Here we have many. Okay, 4083 we have. You can select into this. You need this into this. Select, add privileges to role. That's it. One is added. The same way, like payables or any module, any application. If you are going to create custom one, this is how you can do it. Then you can go to next. That's all. So finally, how to just map with the business unit. This should be taken into role template, right? The policy you have to set as a BUID. Then you have to generate the roles. That process already we discussed. Same. That's it. Okay. So that's all about the role. If you have any other confusion, please let me know. And somebody asked how to add the reports also. That I'll be showing when I'm going to cover. It's also role related. As a part of role only we can add it. Okay, but I'll be showing just when you are working on that BI and all. At the time it's more relevant, so I'll be covering in that part. So hope by this time our the role assignment updates are happened. Let's go and verify that. See, every time we are navigating from here, it's not mandatory from here. Okay, This basically we call as springboard. This we call as springboard. Whatever you see as a home page, the springboard. Here also you can purchasing. We have not only purchasing, even payables also you'll be finding here invoicing. General accounting we have. Okay, so you'll be finding here, but anyway, just I'll go through it here. You can click on purchasing. From here you can see purchasing also. Purchasing recreation. I think seems it's not yet updated. Let me try. It will take a bit more time generally. If you see under procurement here, there should be one more task system should add as a purchasing. It's not yet added. It takes some time. It's not yet updated. For in meantime, what I'll do is just now we verified how to just create the roles and all, right? How to create the custom roles and all. I'll take you the other point here. I'll show you how to add some specific reports for your user. Manage duties. Go to manage duties. Means we are navigating to APM. So already we have seen how to create these custom roles by using IDM and APM. Okay, by just doing those setups from IDM and APM, we created one custom role, and later again we have seen other option, security console. From security console you can create, and from IDM and APM also you can create. But here I'll take you through this. Just I'll show you how to add the relevant reports, whatever you require for your user. Say if you are going to create the custom role. Okay. Anyway, that you can select whatever you created from APM also you can select here. I'm going to create one role here. Say fusion invoice reports with our invoice related functions. Take in that way. Sorry, what I selected. Sorry, I selected I think resource types, application roles. Just save it. Okay, now whatever if you create IP from IDM, that will be selecting as a external role mapping. Even if you create from security console also, that you can map here. But I am just that let it be. Now I want to assign I want to assign specific privileges to this user. So I'll go to invoice policy. Sorry, create policy. So now what is my target? I'll go to the target. Which functions I want to give to this user? I want to give the access to only invoice creation. Directly I can select here. Contains. So my requirement is just I want to give access to view payable invoices. Okay, select here. Here we have a tab called as select add selected. Then here it will be selected. Finally say add targets. That's how we'll be adding. Just you want to give access to the user through this role to view the payable invoices. Along with the viewing payable invoices, you want to give the access to say 1 or 2 reports. In that case, what you can do is here click on add. Here search for reports. Also will be having as some privileges here. However, we are adding specific function. Okay, the same way reports also you can search here. So invoice aging. Invoice aging. Submit payables invoice aging report. In the same way, all reports you can search and you can add. That's it. Select. That's all. Here just you can give the name for this. So now you don't need to assign separate duty to this. This within this already directly functions you added. Okay, done. Now what we can do? You have to assign the application role, right? Here. Okay, you know our application role you can create from IDM or else from security console also you can create. You can add from here. Previously whatever we created, those we have seems to. Those you can vision invoice or something we have. This process already we tested. Okay, you can search. I think already whatever we created, those we mapped. I think that's the reason it's not coming. Okay, you can add here. Then this role, whatever the job role you are adding here, the job role you can go and add in the template. After adding in the template, we have to set the policy BU ID, whatever we did in the previous sessions. Then click on generate. Role will be generated. This role you can go and assign to the user, so that that user will have access to just to view the invoices. Along with that, the privilege would be only running one report. Okay, that's how it works. Just here only we'll be adding. This is through create policies, you can add it. So let's try. Hope it will be working now. So not it takes time. Fine, this we'll see in tomorrow session then. No issues. We're done with all the setups. Okay, in tomorrow session what we'll do is we'll create the purchase order, we'll submit for approval, then finally we'll create the invoice against the PO. We'll see that. Since it will take some time. Navigating here from this navigation, I'll try. Change, I can say. No, under procurement, purchasing task should be added. Okay, it's not happening. May take some more time. But no issues. This we'll see in the tomorrow session. Okay. Fine. That's all for today. And see you in the tomorrow session. We'll be discussing all those points. Any questions, please? Yeah. Yeah. Any questions?
Lakshman, this is Malik here. Is it the normal to take so long to get this thing?
Sorry.
I mean,
no, sometimes this is the issue still we have with the Fusion instance. Even when you are working also, okay, when you assign the roles, the synchronization, sometimes it is taking more than what time we expect. More than expected time, it is taking time. So for that also, even when you contact Oracle also, they used to say, okay, just wait for some time, it will happen. Anyway, it is not going to be a big issue. So there won't be any user. One user will be sitting ready to do some kind of transaction recording based on our task completion. So that is also we have, but this is the issue. This is one time setup. The one time sometimes it takes more time. Okay, this is the issue you'll be having when you're working also, not only in this instance. Normally this sort of issues we have. The reason that every module or every middleware component will be running on the different servers. Okay, so that's how these things are managed. That is the reason this issue will be facing. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Lakshman, one more thing. I still haven't received, I am not seeing any courses, previous sessions. This is Malik here.
Okay, Malik.
I missed a couple of sessions. I know I wanted to go back and just couldn't see any of them. So can you please send me the URL where I can get all the sessions, please?
In the very beginning, I shared one folder. The same folder you can go and access. You just.
I tried it today. Actually, I tried it today.
I'll send you after this session. After this session, I'll send you again that link. Same link I'll be sharing again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, fine, Malik. Thank you.
Ramesh here.
Yeah, Ramesh, please.
Can we have this Excel sheet also, whatever you are doing, it can to be uploaded?
Yeah,
in the
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you on that. Earlier I was sending. I'll talk to you on that, Ramesh.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Because I was not attending for last 1 week.
Yeah, correct. I noticed. Yeah, yeah. I'll talk to you on that actually.
Okay, sir.
Fine.
I'll call you separately.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry for asking.
Yeah, no problem. Fine.
Lakshman, this is Armstrong. I have one question on the inventory. We have a couple of minutes. I was confused on that setup.
Yeah, tell me.
In EBS R12, we define the item master first, and then we go the inventory organization to do that, right?
Correct.
Here, you don't. The system itself, it's weird. It's not behaving as you expected. So you don't define the inventory item master.
Correct.
Without that, you define the organization, the inventory organization. How that will work? Will it work? I'm not sure. I'm confused.
No. See, what happens is first I'll create the master. Yes, later we'll be creating the actual inventory. In the current case, what it is, I created actual, right?
Yes, physical inventory.
Same actual I selected for that inventory as a parameter as a master.
Okay.
Right, I selected as a master. But reality that is not master. The reason is in our system is not allowing us to create master. That is the reason I did it that way.
Yes.
Reality we should not do it that way because that is not master. That is actual. For any actual you have to select master, right? So, but it's not supporting. That's the reason I did the same process. Here also first we'll create item master. Then when we are creating the item, if that item, actual inventory is going to be supported by which master, item master for item definition, that only will be mapping. But since your system is not supporting that, parameter is not working as we discussed. The value should come, but it's not happening. So just to complete this setup, I did. The other reason is anyway we are not going to work on inventory transaction process. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I have one more. I have one more side note. This instance is not it's not working as expected. I tried to add a payables responsibility. Nowadays, it's not getting added. So
what is that?
There's not much progress.
No. See. What is the problem?
I set up all the ledger, business unit, etc. And then I tried to add a user. A user is added, and then I tried to have the payables functionality, and it is not at all coming up. Dashboard is not coming. Payment is not coming. So as you recommended, I added another user and added the data roles for the payables for a particular business unit this evening. And it's not showing it's.
I think last time also you only raised this point, right? You called me once.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
But this problem, because this problem is only with you. I'm sorry to say this. This problem only with you. The instance is same for everyone, but problem is coming with you only. Even you shared your email ID and I verified.
Yeah, that's right. So I couldn't figure out why this is happening.
It's happening only for you. That's what we have to see. Really, I don't have any clues also to find why it's happening with you. Because see, this is the same instance we are using for entire our course, and right from beginning you could see in our classes whether it's coming or not. Okay, so for payables, everything we did in the same. Okay, fine. Just okay. You just I don't think so. It's a browser issue and all, but I suggest you try with other browser. Try with other browser.
Okay.
Let's see, and try to remove that the cookies or etc.
Yeah, I
Uh,
used to clean that one. Okay.
yeah,
Can I call you after some time? Outside the class, if you have
yeah.
a minute.
Yeah. If
I'll
you you can call me maybe within 5 minutes. We'll discuss.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Fine then. That's all for today, and see you in the tomorrow session. Have a good day and good night. Thank you so much.